So the Fulton County, Georgia special grand jury investigating Donald Trump's crimes kicks off in earnest today. So what's taken so long? Let's talk about why all prosecutorial norms and traditions are not necessarily good ones. Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So at long last, the special grand jury in Fulton County, Georgia, is about to begin investigating Donald Trump's Georgia state election crimes. You remember the one that was captured on an audio recorded telephone call between Donald Trump and Brad Raffensperger? You know, just find me 11,780 votes and corruptly declare me the winner? So the special grand jury is about to start issuing subpoenas. And you might ask yourself, what has taken so long? Please put a pin in that. We're going to get to it in a minute. Let's hit some of the highlights about the investigation that District Attorney Fani Willis has been conducting thus far, because she's had a regular grand jury who has already heard the testimony of 50 witnesses. But there are another 30-plus witnesses who refuse to cooperate. No one will accuse them of being patriots. So she had to impanel a special grand jury because in Georgia only special grand juries have the power to issue subpoenas and compel uncooperative witnesses to testify. So that's what District Attorney Willis has gone about doing. Here's some of the highlights from the reporting by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Headline, Fulton County DA clarifies timeline for witness testimony in Trump probe. And some of the highlights include that District Attorney Willis is going to wait until after the May 24 primaries to begin subpoenaing witnesses. However, the selection of grand jurors to sit as part of the special grand jury starts today, May 2nd. Witnesses will begin testifying June 1st. She's assembled a team of 10 prosecutors, and those prosecutors are investigating not only Donald Trump's crimes, but also Senator Lindsey Graham's call to Raffensperger, trying to assist Trump in getting the Georgia election results overturned. Rudy Giuliani's, quote, false claims made during a hearing before the Georgia Senate Judiciary Committee, as well as other matters. But the investigation has basically been on hold. It seems like for a number of months. And here is why, according to the article in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, quote, the veteran prosecutor, that's DA Willis, acknowledged that she's waiting until after the primaries to avoid the perception that her actions are politically motivated, as her Republican critics allege. Now, I want to take up that last point. The point about District Attorney Willis pausing her investigation so her Republican critics won't be able to allege that her investigation is politically motivated. You know, this is a quaint tradition. It's outdated. It's passé. It no longer makes sense to pause criminal investigations or to decline to take overt law enforcement steps to hold criminal politicians accountable. You got to just let them run for re-election unimpeded by criminal investigations. This is beyond outdated, friends. It's dangerous. Think about this. And I'm not beating up on District Attorney Willis because this is the prevailing norm and tradition when it comes to prosecutors. In fact, I'm going to use the Department of Justice and Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, as an example. There is a norm and tradition at the Department of Justice that in the months before an election, it seems like we're always in the months before an election, In the months before an election, we try not to take any overt law enforcement steps that could make it seem like the Department of Justice is interfering in an upcoming election or playing politics, right? Using DOJ's law enforcement powers to somehow play politics and interfere in an upcoming election. But think about this, friends. In this day and age, Merrick Garland, obviously appointed by a Democrat, Joe Biden, so the prevailing sense is that DOJ is controlled by Democrats. Not entirely accurate, but understandable. Merrick Garland could run an investigation honorably, ethically, perfectly, and he could follow the evidence, follow the facts, follow the law, and indict a Republican criminal. And because he paused the investigation in the months before an election, do you think the Republicans would say, oh, that really was on the up and up? No! They're going to cry foul. They're going to cry witch hunt. They're going to cry that was a political prosecution. Whether he paused the investigation in the months before an election or not. I mean, why in the world, when we have politicians, we have insurrectionists in Congress running for re-election, why would we pause a criminal investigation into their conduct in the months before an election when they're running for re-election? Shouldn't we be doubling down? Try to prevent criminals from remaining in Congress or getting re-elected? All we're doing as prosecutors by following this quaint, outdated norm and tradition, pausing investigations in the months before an election, all we're doing is giving criminal politicians a holiday, a respite. We're giving them time to get reelected unimpeded by criminal charges, and we're thereby letting them continue to undermine our democracy. This is a norm and tradition that needs to be let go. You know, because it feels like the Republicans are figuratively forever fighting with dirty bombs and hidden landmines, while the Dems, you know, just continue to reach for their muskets in response. There are some norms and traditions that don't make sense. Let the criticism come. I don't care if the facts and the law lead us to an indictment the week before an election, primary or otherwise. Why should we let nefarious political actors gain an additional foothold by winning re-election before we decide to bring charges? That is a norm, a tradition that makes absolutely no sense in today's environment. So let's abandon it. Let's abandon it. Let's untie that one hand that the Dems forever seem to be tying behind their own back. We fight fair, but we fight hard. We fight relentlessly, because some things are worth fighting for, like our democracy, like removing insurrectionists from our government, like not letting insurrectionists win re-election because we've paused an investigation. Let's abandon that norm, that tradition. Let me finish with this, friends. God forbid if we see the end of our democracy in 2024. I don't want to look back and see America's tombstone read, you know, rest in peace, United States of America, 1776 to 2024. But at least the Dems didn't violate norms and traditions. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.